All right, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. We are going to kick off our media availabilities today with Kurt Busch. Kurt, you officially announced your retirement from Cup Series competition this afternoon. Would you mind just walking us through that decision and how you're feeling?
Sure. Yeah, I have a statement that I wrote, and then now we can go into some questions. But yeah, last year in Las Vegas, where my racing career began, I sat in front of many of you, and it was one of the toughest and hardest things I've ever had to do in my racing career, and that was to talk about not being behind the wheel of a race car. After decades spent at a racetrack with helmet in hand, preparing to compete, I was forced to take a step back and focus on my health. While stepping away from full-time racing for the 2023 season, it's been difficult, but it has provided me with a different perspective and more time to continue focusing on my recuperation and reflect on all that the sport has given me and all that I still have left to give back to it. Racing at NASCAR's highest level requires every last bit of focus, heart, stamina, and determination. And I know right now I can't give what is required to compete at that level week in and week out. So I'm officially announcing my retirement from NASCAR Cup Series competition. Over the last several months, being out of the car, I've appreciated the opportunity to remain actively involved with 2311, Monster Energy, and the Toyota Racing family. And as I can do all that I can and I want to do all I can to continue making this race team one of the best in motorsports. I guess it's fitting that at age 45, my 23 years as a full-time driver in NASCAR would culminate in working with 2311 to impart the knowledge I have for our drivers and our team. And as I transition out of the driver's seat, I can't help but feel incredibly blessed to have spent the amount of time I did as a driver in NASCAR. And I could never have imagined it growing up as a blue-collar kid from Las Vegas. So many people have been part of my journey. I want to thank the fans, my family, friends, sponsors, and team members. Thanks to everyone who has taught me the different things around the motorsports world, and also for those who have had to put up with me. I want to just thank again everyone that continues to push me to strive for success in this sport. It's time for a new journey, and I'm excited to get it started.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up to questions. We'll go ahead and start up here with Jerry Jordan.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net. You talk about this journey. Can you explain what that journey looks like at this point in time, and what does the future hold for Kurt Busch?
Yeah, it's difficult to know which avenues will lead to what here in the short-term future. Still wanting to get doctor approval and to get cleared, that's the first step. That's what I need to do personally. Then we'll have opportunities to talk to different motorsports teams, different sponsors, and doing other races. But the perspective and taking a little step back from being in the car every week, the most joy that I've found is that everything has slowed down for me to help analyze the data, to give advice to Bubba, and to give advice to Tyler, the engineering staff, the team members at 2311. Like that, it's really neat having all of this current knowledge and having the opportunity to be able to digest it and to give back to this team. So that's the short-term goal.
And one more, going into this decision, obviously it's very emotional for you and obviously your fans, your family. Can you talk about how you came to this culmination and what the timing and everything to tell us?
Yeah, it's not one moment that's led to this. It's a few different factors, and my body is just having a battle with father time. I've had arthritis ever since I can remember. My gout is flared up so much that I can barely walk on some days, just pushing to get through physical therapy and to continue the workouts. I remember last summer, I was trying to not show that emotion, and I barely could even walk to the car at Dover because I had to have some shots pre-race just so that I could move my knee and move my feet. Those are those moments where things were starting to add up before things happened at Pocono. So father time, I'm 45 years old, I'm very happy, complacent, and there's nothing that I look back on and regret about having this opportunity at the top level of NASCAR.
All right, we'll go to Bob and then Chris.
Bob Pockers, Fox Sports. You've said previously that 90 to 95% of your life is normal, but when your heart rate gets elevated is when you've had difficulty. Is that still the case?
It's not as bad as it was last summer, last fall. I genuinely feel good about the improvements throughout, call it 3 months at a time, and then we'll push harder to find other things to help with my vestibular movements and to balance out my core strength, so that way everything is stronger within my system to be able to react at top level speed.
Hey, Kurt. Chris Gollin with News Daytona Beach. First of all, congratulations on a remarkable career. And so your crash that was ultimately the last time you were in the Cup car out in qualifying at Pocono, that came amidst a series of crashes in the next-gen car that caused some head injuries. So I was wondering if you've had the chance to observe some of the efforts NASCAR has made to kind of improve that, and what do you think about the future of preventing head injuries in the Cup Series going forward?
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a Hollywood story ending, so to speak, on going for pole in your last race, going out on top. And yes, I think that NASCAR is doing all the right things to improve the safety of the car and made quick, prompt changes after collecting data on my incident and many others. And it's always something in life where you're trying to improve things and make it better for everyone. And I think NASCAR, the teams, and the collaboration that I see between the DAC, the RTA, NASCAR, everybody's moving in the right direction.
All right, we'll go to Claire and then Lee Spencer.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. It's pretty moving to look around this room and see Steve O'Donnell and Mike Helton and Toyota Racing Development and David Wilson and your team and your brother back here, who came early, by the way, to make sure he was here on time. But what does all this mean to you as far as the feeling you get from the many years you've put into it and the people that are here supporting you in this announcement?
I said I wasn't going to get emotional. There you go, Claire. Thanks.
Sorry.
No, thank you to everyone. I was texting Mike Helton earlier this week, and I said to him, I didn't really think I was going to get out of 2002 with as many arguments as we've had. And everyone that's in the room, thank you. Whether it's the sport, our manufacturer, our sponsors. Thank you, Mitch Covington. You stood behind me back in 2012 and said, we will support you. We will sponsor you, Kurt. And it's been an amazing journey with you guys. And to say that you've been with a sponsor for over a decade, we're getting close to for 12 years now, that's been an amazing friendship. Anytime I reference Monster Energy, it's like I work for the company and I'm trying to do all I can to help move product and to create that lifestyle and a can feel. And so thank you to the team. Thank you guys. There's plenty of stories and fun and wins and losses, but thank you to NASCAR for giving me a fair shake at this. There's a bunch of cool trophies at the house, lots of memories, and I hope to give back in all the ways that I can moving forward.
And one follow-up. It's obvious you're a gifted race car driver, but I've stood out on pit road to watch you work with the team, and it's real easy to see what they take from you. I've seen you put sticky notes in the motor coach where you're putting down tire codes and things like that. What is it that you have, and what have you found with the team in particular? Because I think there's a lot you can give back, maybe even more than what you gave as a driver. What is that, and what reward do you get from it?
I think the foundation that my dad, Tom, instilled in Kyle and I from the very beginning about race cars and working on them and understanding every element about the car, even before you drive it, that was a key factor. And then when my dad was putting so much time and money towards our racing, he's working 80 hours a week. We're going to the racetrack every weekend. And when I started to click, and it started to click for me, and I started to win races, I just wanted his job to be easier. I mean, he's my crew chief. He's my car owner. He's a sponsor. He's everything. And I wanted to communicate to him clearly how the car was handling And I think that's something that I took with me to every race team, was just trying to be clear, precise, and help them do their job, but also make their job easier for them. And I think that's why I had so much success at all the different race teams.
We'll go to Lee.
Lee Spencer, catchfence.com. So you talked that you eventually want to get back into some form of racing. What is it going to take? What is your, PT, what have you, look like to reach or attain that goal?
Yeah, keep pushing with the physical therapy, the workouts, doctor visits, tests, and there is no timeline. I just know I need to feel from right here that I am good and look the doctor in the eye, and he'll tell me that I'm good to go. And that was the struggle, mentally, emotionally, the push last summer to try to get back for the playoffs, and I wasn't able to make it. That was the toughest one. Now everything's settling in, and whether I drive again or not, there's so many more things for me to do, and there's no real timeline.
And when you look back, you talk about being that blue kid from Las Vegas, but when you look at what you've accomplished, whether it's the wins, the championship, winning the Daytona 500, can you just talk about the evolution from that, kid that showed up at Roush Fenway, so many years ago to where you are now?
Yeah, being able to win in all of NASCAR's divisions, the ladder system of a hobby stock, a late model, Southwest Tour cars, trucks, went straight to Cup, then came back and did a few races in Xfinity. And to have all the wins at all the different style tracks, I wanted to be a driver that fans could always count on for a good, solid run each day, each weekend. Whether it's up in New England, those New Englanders embraced me after Ricky Craven and my finish at Darlington. The Midwesterners and the big push in Chicago and Kansas and Texas. I always just wanted to give them, somebody to root for that they could always count on, because I'm pretty much just like them. I'm a blue-collar worker that got an opportunity to do something really cool, and that's that racer in me that was able to win 19 different years. If I could have snuck that win in at Sonoma with James Finch's car at Phoenix Racing, the rear end was falling out of it, and I cannot believe we didn't win at Furniture Row. That's one thing I look back on. We had 9 outside poles, but we could not finish the race at the end. That would have been 21 straight years, 22 straight years of winning. And I think that would be more so than Richard Petty's record. So just missed out on a couple, but it's nothing that I really get stuck on too much. I was going for my own little stat because I was a baseball guy. I was trying to create this little thing called a 30-30 club, which is 30 wins and 30 poles. And I think there's only a few select drivers that fit in that category. And I came up just a little short. And maybe that was my improper motivation at Pocono, trying to go for pole. But you always got to have goals. You always got to push yourself. And I want to continue to do that with my team, sponsors, and everybody. And I thank you all as a family here, because you've helped me grow quite a bit since the blue-collar kid got out of Vegas.
All right, we're going to go right there to the left.
Mike Brodsky, Florida National News. Kurt, as you reflect back on your memories being here at Daytona, what are your greatest memories of both being a driver as well as a fan?
As a driver, I got to race here in the trucks and finished second my first ever race here. I wrecked about 15 times, but somehow kept the fenders on it and finished second. Ran IROC cars here. I've been in the 24-hour race here and finished podium. I finished second 3 times, 2003, 2005, 2008. My teammate Ryan Newman got in my way, and so I had to push him. And I never was angry at the track, though. Like, there was so many second-place finishes and wrecks and frustration moments. I was like, the track, maybe I'll win here one day. And I was able to have that opportunity in 2017. So it's a special place. Here, Charlotte, Darlington, Bristol, Vegas, those are my top 5. But Daytona is our crown jewel, motorsports NASCAR event, the Daytona 500, and I'm happy that I have the Harley J-Row.
Congratulations.
Do we have any questions in the press box?
No questions in the press box.
Do we have any final questions down here? Right up here.
Deb Williams, Auto Week. Kurt, as you continue your recovery and work to hopefully one day get back in the car, just to clarify something, will you continue to work with 2311 in an advisory role or helping with that team?
Yes, as long as they'll allow me. I made up my official title this year. I was called CFD. It's coefficient of drag, really. That's what CFD stands for, but I renamed it Captain of the Fun Department. So that's been a good role. And then as of late, though, I've revised it. I want to become slightly more professional within the group. So I've named myself CVO, Chief Vision Officer. Of course, whatever it means, but I enjoy working with all the departments and being that extra set of eyes and helping our team advance so that we can win more races, be more competitive, and have shots at winning championships, because that's the person who I am, and I want to give back to our team.
Thank you, and thank you for your wonderful career.
Thank you. Appreciate it, everybody.
All right, thank you.